Hey guys, it's Becca. It is October 31st, which is the last and final day of Inktober. I just finished my 31st drawing of the month, so 31 ink drawings in 31 days. I followed all the official Inktober prompts that are put out by Jake Parker, and now I have a giant stack of drawings, which is amazing. This was a suggestion from a lot of people to help work on my creative skills and sort of like pushing my creative side versus just my technical side, and I am really, really happy that I did it. Some of the drawings are really bad, I will admit. Some are better than others, but ultimately it really helped me get over this block of being scared to just do anything. Because if you have to do something, it's really, really, I guess, rewarding to have the opportunity to do something better the next day instead of focusing on just doing one thing and perfecting it. So if you're feeling like you're having some creative block or you're worried about making something that's perfect, if you know you're gonna have more drawings in the future, this is a great approach for just getting through that initial resistance to creating something that you know is not gonna be perfect. So I had a great time with Inktober. I hope everybody out there that was doing it enjoyed it and got something out of it, and thank you for suggesting it for me because I think it was actually a really good fit for what I'm trying to do right now. I'm gonna show all the drawings at the end, but with that said, I just wanted to share 3 little things that were kind of takeaways or tips or things that I learned during the process. So number 1, you don't have to outline everything. I realized as I was going along, if I wanted things to have more texture or maybe look more organic, it was much more effective to think more about forming the individual shapes with smaller lines than it was to just draw around the silhouette of something. That's kind of how I started, and towards the end I was able to be more thoughtful about using smaller lines versus just like a big fat black outline around something. So that's number 1. Number 2, this one sounds like a no-brainer, but I probably ignore this rule at least half the times. Resolve technical issues with your sketch before you start inking. I know, it's so obvious, but it's so tempting if you have an area of your sketch. Like let's say you're drawing a hand, for example, the hardest thing ever to draw. If you have a hand and you can't quite get it right in your sketch, do not start inking until you have it figured out. I think there's, at least for me, I just kept telling myself like, oh, like when you ink, it'll work itself out. And it does not. It does not work itself out. You just end up with like a clump for a hand and wishing that you had spent a little more time looking for a photo reference. So take your time, find a reference, make sure you're happy with the concept in pencil before you start inking. Otherwise, you're gonna be in a world of hurt. Number 3, be thoughtful about how you use photo references. Because I've been working more on my style, I guess, and using different kinds of styles, it is really important that you don't directly draw from a photo reference. So I found that when I had a photo reference out and I was trying to do something that was a little more stylized, I got this kind of weird, like sort of realistic, sort of stylized result that I did not like at all. Obviously, if you're doing something realistic, you can use a photo reference. That's really helpful for lighting. But if you're trying to do something that's stylized, I found that I had much better results if I used a photo reference for specific things, like for example, like how a hand works, like a particular hand, as opposed to using a reference to draw from exactly. It's hard to stylize, at least I found, directly from a reference. So those are my 3 main takeaways. Obviously I got a lot out of it just creatively, and it was really fun. I had a really fun time doing this. It's very low pressure. You just get into a rhythm and you know you have to produce something, and it's just an awesome, there's a reason why it's so popular, I guess. So I'm gonna be taking a little break because I'm really behind on my actual work. It's just very time intensive. So I will share all the drawings with you, and I'll be back with whatever my next thing is next week. So without further ado, 31 drawings, onto the drawings.